Hi, this is Eddie Muller welcoming you back to Noir Alley. Hope you have your papers in order because today we're headed out of the country. Our destination is the little fishing village of Carlotta, nestled on an island off the coast of Central America. That's the setting for The Bribe, an extravaganza of backlot exotica released by MGM in 1949. Well, the studio liked to boast of having more stars than there are in the heavens, and a small constellation of them comprise the cast of what feels like a B movie made with a big budget. Robert Taylor, Ava Gardner, Charles Laughton, Vincent Price, and John Hodiak skulk and scheme and sweat their way through the steamy climate and murky script. The Bribe plays like it was cobbled together from films made at studios more familiar with this kind of thing. At times, it feels like you're watching bits and pieces of Columbia's Gilda, Warner's To Have and Have Not and Key Largo, and RKO's Out of the Past. I suspect that producer Pandro Berman, Irving Thalberg's successor as the studio's boy wonder, thought he was missing out on a trend. So he bought a short story by Frederick Nebel, who'd once been a mainstay in the bullpen of Black Mask magazine, where so much of what would grow into noir first germinated. Now, although he knew how to craft a punchy crime yarn and sold many stories to the movies, Nebel hated Hollywood and refused to ever write a screenplay. That task fell to one of the studio's workhorses, Marguerite Roberts. She'd grown up as a hardscrabble cowgirl in Nebraska, but by the start of the 40s, she was one of the most reliable and respected writers at MGM, crafting hits like Ziegfeld Girl, Honky Tonk, and Somewhere I'll Find You, all starring Lana Turner. Hard-boiled crime, however, was not her métier, which is why The Bribe drifts in a languorous limbo between romantic melodrama and crime thriller. Equally unfamiliar with this terrain is the film's director, Robert Z. Leonard. He was the senior contract director at MGM, having begun making movies for the studio as far back as 1924. In the late 30s, he was pretty much Jeanette MacDonald's exclusive director, and he turned out dozens of romantic comedies and musicals. 1940's Pride and Prejudice was by far his best film. But when it came to honing a hard-edged noir, Leonard was pretty much groping in the dark. Fortunately, he had a genius lighting the way. Joseph Rutenberg was the #1 cinematographer at MGM, and although he was not synonymous with noir like colleagues John Alton and Nicholas Musaraca, he was a master of light and shadow, as you're about to see. An immigrant from Russia, Rutenberg learned the essentials back in 1915, training in the original Fox film studio in Manhattan. He signed with MGM in 1934 and shot many of the studio's most prestigious pictures, including Waterloo Bridge, Spencer Tracy's version of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and Gaslight, all of which earned him Academy Award nominations. By the time he shot this film, he'd already won Oscars for The Great Waltz and Mrs. Miniver, and he'd win 2 more in the 1950s for Somebody Up There Likes Me and Gigi. Here, Rutenberg has a field day, creating a thick and humid ambiance, shooting sinister sorts in white linen suits, torpid ceiling fans, and smoky, sexy cantinas. None of that stuff, however, is as visually alluring as the way Rutenberg photographs Ava Gardner, she of the sexiest shoulders in cinema. For me, this is Ava at the peak of her earthy appeal, and we can thank Joe Rutenberg for capturing it in high noir style. I love movies like this. Emphasis on like this. For my taste, there's too much talk and not enough action. The big chase scene involves a marlin, fish, not actor. And while there's plenty to enjoy, you'd best not be in a hurry. The plot flows as swiftly as molasses in January. But when Ava Gardner is on screen, who wants to rush things? And here she is with 4 sweaty guys in The Bribe.